Alrighty, well, I was gonna take the night off tonight, but I started tinkering and was actually gonna call it a night because of this, but I can't live with myself. I sat on the couch for 5 minutes and decided that I need to come out here and resolve this problem or figure out what's going on with this problem. So just started doing a couple of odds and ends while the guys were over tonight. Bolted the AC compressor on, got my coolant crossover on, and bolted my slave cylinder on. And there's a problem with one of those parts. The only crucial one of those has to do with the clutch. So got the slave cylinder bolted on and pressed in the clutch and heard clunk. And I don't have a clutch pedal. So I can grab my clutch fork so I can operate the, what you want to call it, the throw-up bearing right now, and I think it popped out of the clutch, so not ideal. Motor's coming back out. At least I'm very early in this stage. I don't have a lot to take off, so it won't be too bad. But nonetheless, not ideal. So the only brand new part here is the flywheel. This is a used clutch and the old throw-out bearing from the last clutch. So it's a budget. I had the clutch laying up there. So we're gonna see if these just aren't cooperating and not compatible or what's going on. I don't know. So time to yank the motor back out and see what we have going on here. Well, I hope you can appreciate my quick engine pull. There obviously wasn't too much connected other than bell housing bolts and some engine mounts, but either way, 10 minutes later, roughly 15, we're out of there and got the pieces pulled out. I could have just left the pin in. If you know WRXs, if you don't pull the pin, you will never get your engine separated. I'm saying WRX because this is a WRX transmission. Car is obviously not a WRX. WRX transmission, so it has the same clutch fork pin. But this here's the unit that came out of it, and it's honestly just very, very chintzy. So this is my old pressure plate that this bearing came out of, which bearing is nice. So we're still going to reuse it. And this here is the piece that holds it in, and I've got its clip right there still, so I think we're going to use it. It's a much stouter design. I don't know, the teeth around this one here are cupped a little bit better, and this compared to this one, you can see they're all bent up, and this one here, it's nice, stiff, takes a lot of pressure, and this one I can just squeeze it pretty easily. And so I don't know, it's already a Frankenstein of a thing, so let's just add more random clutch pieces to clutches that don't cooperate or didn't come with each other. So see what happens. I'd imagine I should be able to get it in there. Oh yeah, it'll go in there. I gotta get another piece in there though. Well, so yeah, now I gotta get that off of there and then put there's like a little retainer, little spring deal in there, spring washer. I don't even know what that's supposed to be in there, but it's in there. I'd imagine it keeps resistance on it. So that's gonna go back in there, get the throw-up bearing clipped back on, and yoink this back in there, and none of my friends can know about it unless they watch my YouTube video. Essentially 15 minutes later, engine is back in, and we were just set in place enough that guy can test this, so you're gonna get to see this firsthand, if whether or not this right here, my clutch fork, moves or gets stuck, or what happens. If I can set my phone up. So let me know what you see. This guy right there. It should hopefully move forward. That configuration feels like it's going to work. So on that note, I think for tonight, that's about it. And tomorrow, I'll try and pick up right where I left off on wrapping this up. So at least I can sleep easy tonight and know that my clutch does work. Well, welcome back. I am in the home stretch of getting the silver car up and going. Spent the last couple days just kind of tinkering with it, getting all the suspension back together fully. The brakes are on, did a full brake service front and rear, new parking brakes, because I had the parking brakes laying around from the drift car when I initially converted that car to disc brakes. I bought brand new parking brakes for it and never put them in that car, so they're now in this car. So that's going to be nice. This thing, already I got all the suspension tightened up. So everything's tightened up finally. Strut bars are in front and rear. And yeah, not really too much to say there. Suspension's all back together. I still got to get the exhaust on it, get the intake on it. Still got to put the intake together. Don't know if I ever fully showed it. I painted the intake pink. I remember now, I was originally started filming this, but I didn't say what color I was painting it. I said it should have been obvious, so if you didn't guess it, it's pink. So I still got to reassemble all of this, but that's a minor detail. That'll take about an hour or so. But yeah, overall, just a lot of little tinkery stuff to do. Still got to clean up some of the inside of the car. I got the shifter bezels out, the back seat's still out of it, but oh well. Got ourselves some fresh oil, some new gear lube for the transmission. I already put fresh gear lube in the rear diff. So yeah, transmission I've just had dripping all night to get as much out of there as possible. So I think first thing I'm probably going to throw the plug in there, get that topped off so it can't get forgotten about, and I'll probably move on to doing the intake from there. So, well, been getting a lot done here this afternoon. Whole underside of the car is wrapped up. The exhaust is on, header's on. We are all tidied up. Got another little brace on in the subframe. Brandon cleaned it up for me. And yeah, so it is time to start reassembling this intake. Got a blanket thrown down so I hopefully don't scratch this all up too bad reassembling it. So see what happens. Definitely gonna be a bit of a challenge, but and also see if I remember how it went together, because all the pictures are on my phone, but I'm obviously gonna record this, so I'm gonna pull most of this out of my memory here, I think. Alright, well, I was able to remember how everything went together on this without looking at pictures. So, minus getting the throttle body on. I don't know where I set it now, but found out the gaskets that came in my set are different than the one it needs. So, gotta go through my inventory of crap and see if I can find the right one, but what junk. Usually they come with 3 or 4 in the set and you choose the one you need, but hopefully I still have one of the right ones in a box up in the other garage, so we'll see. But intake looks really good. Starting to kind of settle down the pink with all the accessories and crap on it that it needs, so heck yeah, can't wait to get that on the car soon. Well, lucky enough, I had one more gasket left that would work with the throttle body, so we are ready to start reassembling the engine completely. I gotta finish putting in all the bell housing bolts and get all the stuff from behind finished up, the starter in and heater hoses on, and get the AC bracket or AC compressor and bracket rebolted down, and we'll be good to throw the intake on here and hear this thing running a little bit. Alright, well if this isn't exciting, I don't know what is. We are fully assembled. I just put 4 quarts in the engine, so it is now time. I still got the fuel pump and stuff unplugged, so we're going to throw a battery in it. We're going to turn it over, let this thing build some oil pressure, get the oil re-topped off then, make sure we got the full amount in it, and go for our first startup. But man, definitely gotta appreciate how good this looks from like right here with all the pink accents. Like, oh my god, this is so cool. Looks absolutely awesome. With everything in here, it settles down the pink so much. Especially the pink emblem, strut brace. That comes together very nicely. It's either gonna work or it's
You're
not.
right, it does look really good from here on camera.
Doesn't it? Look at it, it's like all... I mean, it honestly, it's like obviously these are the same exact pink, but it's surprising how well it matches.
Yeah, it's like actually really close.
Yeah, like on camera and in person. Like, camera, obviously, you can fool yourself quite a bit, but like it's actually very close. Oof. That didn't sound good.
No, it didn't.
Now it won't crank.
Maybe the battery don't have enough juice.
That didn't sound like the battery not having enough juice. It sounded like the starter not grabbing or jamming.
Well, the belts did move a little bit.
Yeah. Like it sounded like the starter just jammed. I don't know what to say there. Not expecting that. I don't know what the deal was with that.
That was weird, Jam. Maybe the negative terminal wasn't.
No, that sounded like the starter kicked out and then jammed.
Maybe.
It cranks over. We're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, it cranked great.
So yeah, sounds like a compression. Need a rag. Dirty rags everywhere.
Now time to top her off.
Much more needed. Not much more needed. You excited, Brandon?
I'm very excited. This is like my first time experiencing a first start on an engine.
This should be an interesting one.
You said you gotta reconnect the fuel pump?
Yeah, it's got to plug in the fuel pump. Good enough to start it, I would say. Still probably gonna need to have a little more topped off after she starts, but minor details. Are you ready?
I am ready. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Is this as ready as you'll ever be?
I'm getting over the jitters of starting engines for the first time, but I'm
Yeah.
still always a little nervous. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I'm gonna open the garage doors in case this thing smokes from oil being in it. I'm building it. Here we go.
Oh, it sounds beautiful.
It honestly
It
does.
sounds so good.
Well, stay there, I'll give it a couple little revs. This thing sounds really good.
Yeah, it does.
Holy crap.
tell she's getting a little heat in her.
Well, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Well, it is actually alive and sounding really good so far, so heck yeah, it's time to put a radiator back in her, get her filled up with coolant, and look her all over again and make sure there's any loose ends still. And holy crap, we might get this thing out of the garage tomorrow. This is awesome. I just can't get over how the pink looks. Pink looks so good.